When I first became a father, I used to watch my son sleep like every parent does, right? And if you ever watch a baby sleeping, you'll notice something strange. Their chest does not move as they breathe. Their stomach kind of goes in and out like a balloon, actually. And this tiny detail actually explains why so many adults live in a permanent state of low-grade stress. And I'll also show you how to turn it off. See, most people think stress is psychological, circumstances in your life, but it isn't. Stress is physiological first and psychological second, and breathing is the fastest way to change which system is in control. So when my son was younger, I used to watch him sleep, of course, and his breathing was slow, rhythmic, effortless. His chest stayed completely still and his stomach expanded and contracted with every breath. It's not cute, it's biology. There are two major breathing patterns that humans can perform, and they control basically two different nervous systems. To kind of oversimplify neuroscience, and I know I'm going to be destroyed in the comments, but this simplification will really help in a very practical sense. So the way I see it, chest breathing supports the stress response, and belly breathing activates the calming response. Just think about this. If you stress out, what's the first thing that you do? You go, right? Your elbows lift up and you expand your chest. This is a fight or flight response because you're trying to get as much oxygen as possible because you might fight or run away. Well, belly breathing is the opposite. It calms you down. And the fact is, most adults are breathing like they're being chased by a jaguar. So one afternoon, Lex was struggling again. He felt overwhelmed. He was fidgety and frustrated. So instead of correcting him, I tried to teach him this tactic. So I said to him, let's see how you're breathing. And we put one hand on his chest, one hand on his stomach, and within seconds, it was obvious his chest was doing all the work. It was like, in fact, try pausing the video and do this yourself for 3 or 4 breaths. Be honest and don't try to make it do what you want, but actually see which part is moving more. If you're breathing through your chest, you're a little bit stressed. If you're breathing through your stomach, you've actually reached that sense of calm we all aim for. So I call this the baby breath brain hack, and it's very, very simple. Next time you get stressed out or angry or road rage or whatever it is, take a moment and instead of trying to talk yourself out of it or rant or break something, put one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach and breathe normally. We actually do this in my workshops now. Notice which hand moves more. Now, the final step is to breathe so that the top hand stays still and the stomach hand moves in and out instead. This does slow down your breathing, but it also tells your body you're not in danger. After a minute doing this, Lex closed his eyes, his chest stopped moving, his stomach took over, and a few breaths later, he was calm, present, confident. And without prompting, he started reciting the planets, and we went back to our science lesson. After a few minutes, I noticed another change in him. He went from super confident and doing well to kind of sullen and looking down and talking to himself. And I realized that he had just forgotten something, but he was embarrassed to mention it. So being the memory guy, I wanted to, make this into a lesson, and I think you'll enjoy what we came up with. So when you look up, you access more of your memory. There's a theory about that somehow 100,000 years ago, when we're on the African plains and we're looking out along a large savanna, if we have to recall something, it's actually best if we're not looking at what's in front of us. So we look up to the sky to have less distractions. So that's kind of the theory. But we do know that when you look up, physically put your eyeballs up, you actually have more energy going through the memory centers of the brain. In fact, all of your higher brain functions work better when you look up. And when you look down, it tends to be when you're talking to yourself. So that's very much when you're trying to self-soothe or make yourself feel better because you're stressed. So all I did when he was forgetful is I got him to look up, and absolutely a huge change happened. So in the future, what I want you to think of is that breathing controls your nervous system state. It's a direct access to that, but eye position can control your cognitive access, what part of your brain you're activating. And by watching and paying attention to these two things, it makes an absolute difference in your life. And it's not motivational, it's not even psychological, it's really mechanical. You cannot access calm, focus, or memory from a stressed body, but you can train your body to respond to stress with relaxation. That's the hack. So next time your anxiety spirals with shallow breathing, pay attention to where you're breathing. And next time your brain blanks out and you spiral with forgetful mindset, pay attention to where your eyeballs are. Next time that stress hits, you don't fight it with words or mentality or try to force it with clarity, just put a hand on your stomach and a hand on your chest, slow down your breath and look up and let your nervous system do its job. If you like this brain hack, check out more brain hacks in my book, Brain Hacker, available everywhere books are sold. And you can also like and subscribe for more. I hope to see you again soon.